This is every Straw Hat's nothing happened moment in One Piece. And we gotta start this off with the guy who sacrificed his own life for his friends. You see, this electric villain was about to unleash his massive ship, the Arc Maxim, on Skypiea to destroy everything. And the only way to stop it is by sabotaging it from the inside. So Sanji, being the brave cook he is, decides to sneak into the Arc Maxim and use his kicks to do some real damage and mess up the Arc's controls. While he's doing that, Nami and Usopp are getting endlessly attacked by Enel and his lightning attacks, all while trying to escape from the ship. But then Enel charges up his huge Thor attack and aims it at them. And just as that happens, Sanji jumps in and sacrifices himself to help Nami and Usopp escape. And being the tough cook he is, he stood there and just smoked cigarette. Dang, that was cold. But not as cold as this next moment, because it's gonna have you shocked. This girl chose to be executed in order to save her entire crew. You see, Nico Robin has a huge bounty on her head because she can read poneglyphs. And the world government is super paranoid about this because poneglyphs contain secrets about the world's forbidden history, including some dirt on the government itself. So CP9, a secret world government agency, corner Robin and give her an ultimatum: turn herself in or watch her crew get obliterated. Robin, who spent her life on the run and has always been ready to sacrifice her happiness for the safety of those she cares about, decides to go with CP9 to Enies Lobby, believing this will keep her friends safe. Robin's decision is a massive deal. She's basically signing up for a death sentence to protect her crew, who've become the first real family she's ever had. It's heartbreaking because she's doing it silently, thinking she's saving them from getting caught up in her mess. But then again, we all know what happened at the end. And this was just the first two. Later we'll show you a moment that'll definitely give you goosebumps. But this girl loves her friends so much, she'll stand up against an army for him. During the whole Cake Island arc, things got super intense, to say the least. Nami, despite not being the physically strongest member of the crew, showed her true colors when Luffy decided to take on Big Mom's army to protect Sanji and steal copies of the Road Poneglyph. Nami didn't back down. Instead, she stood by Luffy, proving she's not just the crew's navigator, but a fearless friend ready to face down terrifying odds. Now, maybe she didn't fight, but she was there for Luffy when he really needed it. Fast forward to the Wano Country arc, where the Straw Hats are up against Kaido and his beastly crew. Otama, a sweet kid from Wano, gets caught up in the mix. When Ulti, one of Kaido's top fighters, targets Otama, things look pretty bad. But Nami steps up and refuses to abandon Otama, even when faced with Ulti's brutal strength. It's a testament to Nami's growth as a character. And while that is a cool moment, the entire show would have ended if it wasn't for this next guy. In One Piece Stampede, the Straw Hat Pirates find themselves in an epic treasure hunt racing against time for Goldie Roger's eternal pose to Laugh Tale, leading to an all-out battle on a mysterious island. But the event was suddenly interrupted by Douglas Bullet. And so Luffy and the other pirates of the worst generation decide to team up and defeat him. And after everything ended, Luffy was severely wounded and was knocked out. And with flames everywhere, Usopp, who's a self-proclaimed coward, and despite his usual fears, his loyalty to Luffy and the crew surpasses personal doubts and worry. So spotting the danger to Luffy, Usopp does not hesitate to help him through the fire and flames, quite literally. And not only that, he saves Luffy from a burning log that almost falls on top of him. Now that was honorable. But this next guy stood up against the most hard-boiled villain out there. During the Dressrosa arc, the Straw Hat Pirates are involved in a massive battle to defeat Doflamingo, with multiple fights breaking out between the Straw Hats and Doflamingo's crew. It all ends up in a one-on-one battle with Senior Pink, a member of the Don Quixote Pirates known for his hard-boiled demeanor and ability to swim through solid ground thanks to Devil Fruit, the Suisui no Mi. Their fight isn't just a clash of fists, but of honor and manliness. Senior Pink and Frankie decide to duke it out in a straightforward brawl, reflecting a mutual respect for each other's hard-boiled nature. They trade blow for blow, with neither side using weapons or tricks, just pure physical strength and willpower. Now this could be considered Frankie's nothing happened moment, since Frankie's fight with Senior Pink is similar in spirit, though different in context. After their intense battle, which leaves both warriors battered, Frankie stands victorious. Despite the severe beating he takes, Frankie doesn't boast about his win or even show off his injury. Like Zoro, he downplays the ordeal, essentially embodying the nothing happen attitude by not making a big deal out of his own sacrifice and pain for the sake of his crew and their mission. So hard-boiled! And it turns out this next guy said nothing happened even before Zoro. During the Skypiea arc, the Straw Hat Pirates find themselves on an island in the sky. While the crew is off exploring the jungle, Chopper is left to guard their ship, the Going Merry. The Merry isn't just parked somewhere safe, though. It's stuck on a sacrificial altar, and soon Chopper had to protect it from attackers. Despite being the smallest and arguably the least experienced fighter in the crew at the time, Chopper goes all out, man. He fights off the attackers as best as he can, protecting the Merry and waiting faithfully for his crew to return. And despite all the dangers, this guy showcases his bravery and loyalty like no other in the show, bro. Not only that, he said this. He said, "Nothing scary happened." But alright, fast forward to Enies Lobby arc where the Straw Hats are trying to rescue Robin from the world government. Chopper, not wanting to be a burden and determined to be as helpful as possible, ends up taking 3 Rumble Balls within 6 hours. Something he's never done before and is incredibly dangerous. The result is a monstrous transformation, turning Chopper into a giant berserk version of himself. He loses control, unable to distinguish friend from foe, causing destruction and putting himself in danger. This moment is Chopper's sacrifice. He's willing to risk his life and sanity to help his friends, pushing beyond his limits to support the crew's mission. Similar to Zoro's iconic nothing happened moment, Chopper's actions during these critical moments are his way of silently bearing the weight of the crew's challenges. He doesn't brag about protecting the Merry or how he risked everything in Enies Lobby. Instead, he endures the pain and consequences quietly, showcasing his dedication and courage without seeking recognition or reward. Now that is pretty impressive. And this next guy is the most impressive of them all, because he would die for his entire crew without a second thought. The Straw Hat Pirates land on Drum Island, and they're there because Nami's super sick. They need a doctor ASAP. Sanji also got knocked out cold after an avalanche hit him, go figure. So, as you can imagine, they're in a tight spot, needing medical help, but with no easy way to get it. Luffy finds out the only doctor who can help is at the top of this massive snowy mountain, and he doesn't even hesitate for a second to pick up both Nami and Sanji and starts to climb, barefoot in his shorts, because that's just how Luffy rolls. The climb is brutal. Luffy battles the cold, steep cliffs and even an actual avalanche, all while carrying his friends on back. It's a hardcore display of his loyalty and determination. He's literally putting himself through a physical hell because leaving a crewmate behind just is not an option. Fast forward to Wano, Luffy's loyalty shines again, but this time it's not just for his crew, it's for the entire country of Wano. Luffy's dedication in Wano is next level. He's fighting for the freedom of an entire nation inspired by his friends. He trains, gets stronger, and even endures torture in a prison camp without losing spirit, all to take down Kaido and help the people of Wano. But the captains aren't the only ones brave enough to stand up to an Emperor of the Sea, because this guy fearlessly went up against a Yonko. The Straw Hat Pirates are on Whole Cake Island, and Brook was assigned to get a copy of Big Mom's Road Poneglyph. Brook manages to sneak into the room where the poneglyph is kept and starts making a copy of it, but here's where things get intense. Big Mom catches him in the act. Instead of panicking, Brook stands his ground. He's up against one of the 4 emperors of the sea. A pirate so strong, they can basically be classified as a force of nature. He doesn't even flinch. He challenges Big Mom, fighting her with his sword and soul powers, despite the massive difference in their strength. And the fight is as wild as you'd expect. Brook uses everything he's got, but it's Big Mom we're talking about, dude. The fact that he even survives is pretty remarkable. After the battle, when the crew finds Brook, he's all casual about the whole encounter. He doesn't even brag about standing up to Big Mom or how he managed to protect the copy of the poneglyph in the middle of all of that. In true nothing happened style, Brook downplays the danger and his bravery, acting as if fighting one of the strongest characters in the entire show was just another day at the office. Now that is a cold moment. But not all One Piece moments are cold. Some can be extremely hot. Like this next guy who took a magma punch for someone he just met. During the Marineford War, Luffy's on a mission to save his brother Ace from execution. The battle's insane. Pirates, Marines, warlords, all clashing. Luffy's right in the thick of it, giving it everything he's got. Jinbei, who had only met Luffy that same day, was there having his back. When things are getting super heated, Admiral Akainu, a guy who can turn his fists into magma, targets Luffy with a deadly punch. Jinbei, in a move that's all about loyalty and guts, steps in and takes the hit for Luffy. We're talking a magma fist to the back, which is as bad as it sounds. Jinbei doesn't even flinch though. He's all about protecting Luffy. Fast forward to the whole Cake Island arc where the Straw Hats are dealing with Big Mom, one of the 4 emperors at the time. Jinbei, who worked with Big Mom's crew, decides it's time to officially join the Straw Hats. But first, he's got to break the news to Big Mom, which is like telling your scary boss you're quitting on the spot. Standing in front of Big Mom, Jinbei declares his intention to leave her crew and sail with the Straw Hats. Big Mom, who's not used to being defied, tries to intimidate Jinbei with her soul powers, threatening to take his lifespan as punishment. Jinbei doesn't even blink. He tells her straight up that he's not afraid of death as long as he's following his path. It's a major power move, showing Jinbei's unbreakable spirit and his commitment to his new crew. Both of these instances highlight Jinbei's courage and loyalty. Like Zoro, Jinbei doesn't brag or make a big deal out of his actions. He doesn't seek praise for taking a magma punch to the back or for standing up to one of the most powerful pirates ever to have been known. For Jinbei, it's on a day's work. Protecting his friends and sticking to his moral code is just what he does. No need to talk it up. And if you've made it to the end, comment "nothing happened" down below, for we have our last guy on the list. Zoro, with the most iconic moment in One Piece. Yeah, go ahead. Debate me. I'll defend it. Let me set the scene for you, all right? The Straw Hat Pirates are on Thriller Bark, and the crew has been battling Moria and his monstrous army to save their shadows and get the heck out of there. And while everyone is asleep and resting after defeating Moria, Bartholomew Kuma shows up. And this dude is another warlord on a whole other level, man. He's got the power of the Pawpaw Fruit, which lets him repel anything, including pain and fatigue. The world government has sent him to clean up the mess, and he's got his sights set on taking Luffy down. Kuma decides to test Zoro's loyalty by offering him a deal. He'll let everyone go if they just hand over Luffy. Obviously, that's a no-go for Zoro. But things get real when Kuma decides to take all of Luffy's pain and fatigue and transfer it to Zoro as a bubble of pure agony. Zoro, being the ultimate badass and loyal first mate, steps up without hesitation. He offers to take all of Luffy's pain if Kuma spares the rest of the crew. Kuma, intrigued by Zoro's show of loyalty, agrees, but warns him that the pain could easily kill him. Kuma even gives Zoro just a taste of what he'd feel, and it didn't look so good. But after Kuma transfers Luffy's pain into Zoro, the scene cuts away, and when we return, we find Zoro standing, bloodied, barely alive, but unbroken. Sanji finds him like this and asks what happened. Zoro, with the weight of that hellish pain still lingering inside him, simply says, "Nothing happened."